We're offline.
eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.
And it is time for Tech Thursday again, right here on the eRadio. And I am joined by Kaine again today. Kaine is with us also between now and 4 o'clock as we look at this week's biggest tech stories that really got our interest. Kaine, how's it going?
Hey, Eon, thank you for having me. Good to be back. Another week in tech.
Yes, and it's been an interesting one, but just before we get to all the highlights, today's episode is brought to you by the High Voltage Ejector Bed.
What does that do?
Okay, I'll tell you. If you're having trouble getting up in the mornings, this is a solution for you. With the High Voltage Ejector Bed, if you don't get up immediately when the alarm goes off, it activates a sensor and it actually throws you out of the bed. You will be launched into the air. It launches you.
Shocked out of your bed and onto the ceiling fan.
It launches you. It's powerful enough actually to throw you across the room or even out the window. What a start to your day. Imagine that happening on a Monday morning. You actually go right through your window and you wake up outside.
I can see the product review. Slightly too strong. I had to put mattress on ceiling.
Yeah.
Impact.
Yes, and what's more is they're offering a free trial. Now, I would say yes to a trial, but I'm on the 3rd floor of a building, so I don't think it will be wise for me to get a bed like this.
Oh my goodness. That's just too funny.
Can you imagine? Anyway, that's our sponsor for today. Big thanks to the High Voltage Ejector Bed. Now, Tech Thursday would like to involve our listeners as well. We value your input. We'd like to hear from you. Send us your input. What do you want us to talk about? You can send us voice notes as well, or maybe some topics that you would like us to talk about. Maybe you want to talk about something. Send us a WhatsApp to 081 060 1640. That's 081 060 1640, or send an email to studio@eradiosa.co.za. That's studio@eradiosa.co.za. Kaine, I see that this week Elon Musk's incredible University of Pretoria test results surfaced online. Did you check that out?
Oh my word, I have never seen that. This is like the big unveiling. This is like the Grammys.
Yes, but listen, it's of course, I mean, what do you expect? Elon Musk, it was incredibly impressive. There's a photo of him. Now remember, this was back in 1989. I was born in 1989, so this guy was already at university, and he was doing amazing things already. Back then, looking very, very young in the photo. But his mother actually said that she knew he was going to be a genius at only 3 years old. She could sense that he was going to be incredible.
Wow. Imagine having that much support from your mom, eh? And that much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, yes. And also she recalled how Elon wrote a computer game when he was just 12 years old that really impressed a group of college engineering students. You see, you just have it in you. You have it or you don't have it.
Yeah, I think at 12 years old, I was writing the name of the computer game I wanted for Christmas. I think that's about as advanced as I got.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Well, I wasn't even playing computer games, man. I was just playing with my Nokia 5110.
The E250.
Yes. Or maybe that was still I think that was still my Philips Savvy. My very first phone was a Philips Savvy. I don't know if you know those phones, but that was my very first one.
Never have I ever.
I'll show you one day. I still have it. I'm going to keep it in my museum of memories.
Oh, right, nice.
Right,
so
Kaine.
What did Elon Musk end up getting in school? What was his test results?
Well, she actually posted a screenshot of one of his aptitude tests, and that was released online, so you can go and see that. It is in a lot of forums. That was when he was 17, apparently. It is going around at the moment. You'll see the old logo on it saying Universiteit van Pretoria, and then it says I have requested ISM SA to conduct aptitude tests on Elon Musk regarding computer programming. The results were outstanding. Operating A+, and programming A+ as well. We're not surprised.
Wow, hey, sure.
And that was on the 17th of May 1989. That was 5 days after I was born. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You were celebrating.
Yes, I was barely out of hospital and I was celebrating already. What have you got for us, Elon? I just called you Elon, but that's a compliment. What have you got for us, Kaine? Yeah, you must take it. You must take it. Somebody once said to me, by the way, I look like Elon Musk. So, a big compliment. Sorry. Carry on.
I could actually see that. I could actually see that there's a little bit there. There's a bit of Musk.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, that's nice. Thank you, Kaine. I'll take it. I'll take it as well. Apparently, that's also a compliment, so I'll take it. Thank you so much. Now, the airwaves are all yours.
Right, so here's something very interesting that recently happened. So we've made a discovery about something that happened in 2014, but we discovered it today. So in 2014, satellites recorded a huge flowing swirl of plasma extended high into the magnetosphere that lasted hours before disappearing. And what we guess it is at this current time is a first look at a space hurricane. This is one of the first that have ever been detected. It was detected over the North Pole, and what you're looking at is like a highly radioactive space hurricane. Non-dangerous, of course, because it happened in 2014, so we're still here,
Yeah.
we're still good, but it was first ever found.
Wow. Fascinating.
So what Mike Lockwood said, who's a physicist, an environment physicist, said, a space environment physicist, he said, until now, it was uncertain that space plasma hurricanes even existed. So to prove this with such a striking observation is incredible. So the science community is obviously really impressed with this discovery. And obviously because it happened in August 2014, it goes to show that even though we're actively recording so much about the world and things like that, it doesn't necessarily mean everything that we record happening or that is automatically recorded happening is analyzed. So there's a lot of hidden gems out there in terms of old information and old video footage that has been captured of space and things like that that's still yet to be fully analyzed. And as we get better in tech and science, we're building better tools to go through this data and look for anomalies, and this is obviously one of those anomalies. So what does a space hurricane look like? So unlike other hurricanes, this space hurricane rained electrons into the ionosphere. This had a stunning effect, a huge cyclone-shaped aura below the hurricane. The whole thing lasted nearly 8 hours, depositing vast amounts of energy and momentum into the ionosphere. Conditions were otherwise quiet, which posed a mystery. A rain of charged particles into the ionosphere from the solar wind is what usually produces the glowing green aura at Earth's higher altitude. So what you normally at Earth's higher latitude. So what you might have heard is a lot of people that go and visit, the polar regions talk about the auroras that they see in the sky, which is the visible light of our electromagnetic field.
Oh, yeah.
So this would have been quite a sight indeed. I wonder if anyone saw that and thought, that doesn't seem normal.
Yeah, but the Milky Way already impresses me, so I can only imagine what that must look like.
Yeah,
just seeing pictures of the Milky Way, or a good night out in the Karoo where you have no light pollution and you can see the Milky Way. I mean, that's just incredible. Well, now, Kaine, back to SA Tech. And I'm pretty sure you saw the story this week. It was released on the 1st of March, also on my broadband, about the plan to force South African ISPs. What does ISP mean, if you don't know? It stands for Internet Service Providers. It is going to, force them to have black ownership, and that plan is now being finalized. Did you pick up that story?
I have heard talk about that, and I don't actually know the full story, to be honest with you. Quite nerve-wracking information, actually.
Yeah, would you like me to give you the story?
Let's hear it.
Right.
Let's hear it.
Now, the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa is finalizing new regulations on ownership of telecoms licensees, which is likely to include prescribed ownership by black people. The regulator published its limitations of control and equity ownership by historically disadvantaged groups and the application of the ICT sector code draft regulations on the 14th of February last year already for comment. But the draft regulations sent shockwaves through the ISP and telecoms industry because of its strict new BBBBBBBEEEE ownership requirements. My God, how many B's and E's have you got here? It requires Electronic Communication Services, ECS, and Electronic Communications Network Service, ECNS licensees to have at least 30% black ownership. Now, these licensees must maintain a 30% black ownership and level 4 BBBEEE status throughout the term of the license, and should an ISP or telecoms provider not comply with these requirements, they face severe penalties. Guess what will happen to you if you don't have 30% black ownership in your company, Kaine? Want to know?
I know it's not just a slap on the wrist. So what is it?
Well, it can include a fine of 5 million rand or 10%.
Is that all?
No, or 10% of your of your annual turnover. Now, man, the people weren't having this story, eh? They were not happy with this story at all. So let's just keep an eye on it and stick to the facts and see what's going to happen. I won't necessarily share my views on it on this public platform. How do you feel?
Well, here's the very interesting thing. I think for because it's such a difficult box to fit in as an ISP, because someone like AfriHost or Telkom or MWeb would be valid to call an ISP. But then at the same time, you got your local internet service providers, which is a very much smaller, less corporate kind of business, and these businesses might have been started by one or two people who had a fast internet connection and shared it via long range beam internet connection with satellites and things like that. They don't necessarily have the capacity to just say, sure, we can do with 30% less of ownership of our business that we started. Didn't have any backing, it didn't have any financial aid, it didn't have any capital injection. It was just a entrepreneur with a whiteboard and a pen. And it's like, okay, so that person would have to then go and change his corporate structure. It just doesn't hit the same as someone like Telkom having to comply or AfriHost having to comply. They're facing different realities. And that's, I think, what needs to be observed.
Yeah, the smaller businesses are actually the ones protesting against it and saying exactly what you are saying. So that is a very, very valid point indeed. Kaine, what have you got for us after the break?
After the break, we're talking about 2 lotto wins in 1 month leave someone in Durban 28 million rand richer.
Okay, I've got a few thoughts on that. We'll share it with you right after these.
Get the eRadio SA app right now for free on the Google Play Store. Entertainment radio on the go.
Welcome back to Tech Thursday right here on eRadio. It's Eon with you until 4 o'clock along with Kaine, and we are discussing the week's biggest tech stories. Isn't that so, Kaine?
That is 100% correct, Eon. And right now, we're talking about something that is a little bit off tech, but I mean, it can buy a lot of tech. 2 lotto wins in 1 month. I'm going to argue this question, and I think it's going to be, Ian, have you ever won the lotto?
Kaine, I won 24 rand last year.
Have you ever won an amount twice?
No, not at all. But I know last year there were some stories going around, it was in the news about the systems being rigged, because one night it threw out numbers like, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something. It's rigged.
That is just, it's mad. So they obviously got this notification to say they won the lotto, and the winner said, I was excited to learn that I had won the lotto jackpot, especially because just 4 weeks ago I had won 129,000 from Daily Lotto. It's like,
okay.
Indeed, my luck. Yeah, she finished with.
Okay, you know what? This is probably one of the cousins of the people who work there or something. I'm telling you right now, because that's what emerged when they were doing that. They were actually confiscating computers and equipment from the lottery offices. I think it was late last year. Because people were basically letting their friends and family members win.
It's insane. It's just, can you just imagine?
No, but
wow.
Kaine, you know what? That's so unfair, because you've got old Philip here, who's working on the construction site, and he's I mean, it's just an example. I don't really know Philip working on a construction site, and he is just dreaming about retiring and a life with money. And every single week he goes and he spends 250 Rand on lotto tickets. What about poor Philip?
What about poor Philip?
Yes, what about him? He doesn't stand a chance. Now who's going to tell him? I'm not going to tell him. No, that's not cool, man.
I can't believe how much money that is. I mean, can you just imagine, just in 1 month, you're just 28 million Rand richer. Like, what is the first thing you would do with that money? What she said she's going to do with that money is, she said, and I quote, although I have not completely decided on how I'm going to spend my winnings, I do know that I want to invest, assist some family members who are struggling, donate to a charity that is close to my heart, and finally take on early retirement.
Okay, yeah, I've ticked a few of those boxes. Not early retirement, that's not going to happen yet. But, yeah, what would you do?
What I would do with that money is a question I'm not going to ponder on, because I don't have the, I'm going to get so hungry to spend that money just thinking about it. I would immediately, I mean, investing is obviously such an important decision to make, because let's be honest, if you go buy a car and a house and you buy all of your family members a car and maybe even potentially a house, what you've got is a bunch of assets that aren't necessarily making you money yet. So, you know what I mean? You know, after you've spent, say, 14 million on getting 5 houses and 5 cars, you're still no closer to making another 28 million. So I think investing obviously is an important one, and helping family members are equally important. But that amount of money is so large, you shouldn't spend it immediately. I mean, your strategy should be, you should immediately adopt a long-term strategy to make that money last. Maybe a business venture, some passive investment opportunity, and then even more so, maybe just trying to find a nice long-term savings plan for some of that. I would think is a good idea.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, how about some Bitcoin? Because that's what our next article is all about. How about buying some Bitcoin? Because those who bought Bitcoin last year would have made a tidy profit if they held onto their investments until now. As of the 1st of March 2021, so this week, on Monday, the price of Bitcoin in South African Rand was 712,000 Rand 734, dropping slightly after reaching a high of over 840k in February. That's 840,000 Rand in February. Well, that was last month. So if you had purchased Bitcoin on the 1st of January last year, when it was priced at 110k, you would have increased your investment by 544% if you sold it on Monday, the 1st of March 2021.
I mean, that's such a lot of money, eh? Wow.
It's too much, man. Would you, if you won the lotto, would you invest in crypto personally?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't even make a second guess. That would be a large portion of my investable portfolio. I think would be crypto-based technologies, specifically, coins that have already established somewhat of a market position, and then obviously I would be very active in funding, up and coming technologies and innovations and things like that. That's where, with that amount of money, you could you could diversify your portfolio with a minimum of like R1 million, and in 10 years you're going to definitely see profit on that. I would put money on it. Not investment advice.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And now we've got some advice here from my broadband as well. Smart TV boxes. They have fake specifications. They're actually being sold on Takealot at the moment. Can you believe it? Consumers shopping for smart TV boxes on Takealot should take note of products being advertised with fake specifications. Now, I don't know if you know. I'm pretty sure you know, Kaine, that if you buy one of these media boxes, and I've got one myself. I've got the My Box, and it works like a dream. But if you buy one of these odd boxes, they usually look quite odd on Takealot, and they're not Google certified. You're gonna pick up problems later.
Oh wow! Hey, I mean, you got to look out, because these boxes aren't even that hard to manufacture. I mean, the technology in terms of how advanced the tech isn't anything fancy. So you have to have your wits about you when you're making a purchase. It's very easy to get misconstrued.
Yeah, you have to be very, very careful, because some of these boxes are being sold on the platform on Takealot. Maybe they have since been removed. I don't know. The article was published on Monday, the 1st of March, 2021. But the problem is, if it's not Google certified, the problems you'll start picking up later is your apps won't update, and you won't be able to use, later on you probably won't be able to use Netflix, and I know for a fact you won't be able to use DSTV now. So if you were planning on watching DSTV on your new smart box, you won't be able to. It just won't work.
Wow, that's okay. I mean, how does a customer prevent themselves from making a mistake? How does a consumer do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, my broadband contacted Takealot to ask whether it was aware of the issue, and the retailer told my broadband that the products highlighted by the complainant were being sold by multiple marketplace sellers across its platform, and it was also listed by other online retailers with the same specifications. Takealot stated, to their knowledge, the product specifications are correct. So you are just, it is very, very risky. My advice to you would be to go for the best, and they're not paying for me to say it, but definitely the My Box, MIBOX. Ask for the My Box. It is available on Takealot as well, and it is really just the best in my opinion.
There you have it. That seems really. I'm gonna even do that. I was about to actually buy one of those, not for myself, but for a family member of mine, and now I feel like I have a little bit.
Did I just sell it to you?
In what I'm about. Yeah. Absolutely.
Can I please get commission here? My Box, hello. Please. I would like some commission.
Give me an affiliate link.
Yes, that's it. Kaine, what have you got for us after the break?
Luno, if anyone knows, is a cryptocurrency exchange for South African users that recently launched in South Africa, won a Growing Tech Startup of the Year award, and now just hit 7 million customers.
Ooh, nice. More after this.
Your systems are offline.
eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.
And we're back on Tech Thursday. Kaine has got he's got our first story for now after the break. Kaine, it's all about Luno.
Yes. Luno, South Africa's leading cryptocurrency exchange, said yesterday it now had 7 million customers or wallets, only 7 weeks after reaching the milestone of 6 million customers. So 7 weeks later, bang, another million customers in their bank. I mean, that is really impressive growth. Luno, for me, has always been one of the cryptocurrency exchanges that have really stood out. They're very simple. They're very, 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 very simple. In fact, easy to use. It works every time you want to use it. When it doesn't work, their support is surprisingly quick to respond. They've got the secret ingredients, the chemical X to making a good business and a strong community in cryptocurrency, especially here in South Africa. I really do take my hat off to them. It is quite the accomplishment. If I understand it correctly, Luno actually started out in Europe as a tech startup, and they did a multi-pronged approach where they launched in some African countries as well. And I think one of them was Namibia, one of them was South Africa. I know they have Nigeria as well now. So they've definitely got a good portion of Africa. And Yeah, if you ask anyone in crypto today, they'll say Africa's where it's hot, Africa's where it's expanding. You're banking the unbanked. These are people that have never been banked before, and you're giving them not only the tools that they need to be financially adapt in the 21st century, but you're also giving them an opportunity to be financially secure and hedge themselves into the digital future of money. And I think that from what is Luno, in terms of what Luno has achieved, is definitely noteworthy.
That's some massive growth there. And now a mysterious new version of Microsoft's Windows operating system is set to roll out in the near future. This according to a tweet by reputed leaker Walking Cat. Now this guy or girl obviously leaks information and obviously got a reputation for it being true. But according to the leak, a new version of Microsoft's desktop operating system could be named the new Windows when it is announced to consumers in the coming months. So can't they just fix the 10 Windows before they bring out new Windows?
Do you want to hear something very interesting about Windows and Windows 7, 8, 9, 10, Vista,
Always.
all of them?
Always.
Windows changed its approach a couple of years ago, and they even made an announcement, I think it was in 2017, they said there will be no future versions of Windows because they're changing their approach from a strategy which is new version iteration. So like we saw, Windows 7 was conceded by Windows Vista, or it might have been the other way around. Then it was 8.1, then it was 10, and each and every new iteration of Microsoft's operating system was supposedly better than the last until Windows 10. And they made the announcement that there will be no more Windows versions. And the reason that they said they were doing that is if you look at someone like Apple with their OS X, they release one product and maintain that product. They maintain that operating system, so you have regular updates and new development and new software that they create is developed for that particular operating system and is delivered to the end user via updates and all that sort of stuff. And now Microsoft, obviously in 2017, said, okay, no, that's a cool way to do business. We're going to do that as well. And now it's very interesting to hear that there's talk of a new Windows. Did they not like that strategy?
Yeah.
Is this just what they think is worth it for 2021? Did COVID kind of push them to say we not need to make some noise? I'm very interested. I think this is super exciting.
It is, but it is still obviously speculation. They're saying that the new label refers to the Windows 10X operating system. It could be an upcoming version of Windows 10 designed to deliver an entirely new set of features. So who knows, it could just maybe come through as a feature update on your existing Windows 10.
Wow. I mean, I hope they bring out a new Windows. Quite frankly, I'm tired of Windows 10. I really, as a person who came from the 90s, I really like Windows XP. I'm actually very fond of Windows 7. Windows 10 is like half Windows 7 and half the new version of Windows 8.1, and it's actually very disconcerting. It's very confusing even to try and operate both sections, because you can change your settings from the Windows 10 version of settings adjusting, or you can go to a completely different place where it's like Windows 7 version of changing settings and a bit of XP version of changing settings, and you can go and change them like that. It's very confusing. I hope that they bring out a new, more refined, all-in-one user kind of experience. I think that's asking for too much, but
yeah. Okay, and Kaine, lastly, your last story today, and that's a very, very interesting one. Can you make a living as a gamer in South Africa? Tell us, can you?
Wow. I mean, it's a heavily debated question, because what you're actually looking at is you're asking yourself, can you earn enough money from gaming and still make enough to survive? And the answer to that question is, how hard are you willing to work? Because it is very much possible, and there is very much people doing it. but it is a position that requires a lot of hard work. A pro gamer is a full-time competitive player who is paid to play video games. It's almost like a career in the gaming field. Most professional players are normally paid by their teams or sponsors to compete in the biggest esports tournaments around the world. So that would be profession option 1. Be so good that you get paid to play in big tournaments and with teams that you're basically representing, whether it's a European team and you're from Australia and you were brought into this team. That's your team, that's who you're playing for. That's who your sponsors pay you to be represented as, and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're really, really, really good at gaming, you can go and try and compete professionally, just like you see in normal sports today. But you can also work in gaming and not be a gamer. You can be like a social media manager. So you can make a living in gaming also by being involved in marketing of new games, while being involved in the curation of new games, maybe game development. So there is, luckily, the old kind of saying is, if you're a gamer, it's unhealthy. Your eyes will go square. It's there's no golden pot of coins at the end of the rainbow when you're gaming. That's what all of our parents, especially back in the day, a lot of my friends and even my parents would say, you got to stop wasting time on the computer. You got to get out, you got to go do stuff, you got to go learn, you got to experience the world, be social and all those things. And you do have to do all those things, everything in balance, but there is no dead end, so to speak, behind gaming, and there is many ways you can do it. You can be an excellent gamer and go be competitive. You can be incredibly intelligent and help with the development and marketing of new games because you know the scene and you're very familiar with everything. You can even be an exceptionally comedic kind of face, and you can go and do live streaming and you can entertain an audience, and you don't have to be the best, but you can be very entertaining and you can be fun to watch and you can always engage your audience. And then people on Twitch or other streaming platforms will either subscribe to you, where you earn a monthly amount from them, or they can even donate to you and tip you throughout the month. And as long as you're active enough and you stream enough, you can earn enough money to survive. So if you're a kid out there, you're young, or you have a child who's young, who's interested in gaming, who seems, besotted on watching people who are gaming and even, spending all hours of the day on the computer, there is a career, a way to stay afloat and make good money. But, it's not going to be done if you're leaving them in the house to do it 24/7. There has to be balance. You have to get out. You can't burn the guy out. So there is hope, but there's still reason to be healthy.
Okay, but you're saying that you can make a living as a gamer in South Africa?
Yes, there are multiple ways to make money in there.
Okay, awesome, man. And then lastly, our last story for today. The personal touch is not so popular anymore when it comes to client service. That's ever since the pandemic hit. So what about traditional hotel services offered to guests? Well, the hospitality industry is having to adapt and innovate. Like a hotel in Sandton, they now cater for their guests who do not want to contact or have contact with staff. So they've actually employed 3 robots. Mika, Ariel and Lexi. They are now part of many technological advancements there. So apparently these robots welcome you when you get to the hotel, Kaine.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is going to make the people who say their jobs might be replaced by robots, they're going to be having a field day at the moment. They're going to be stressing. Because if the robot does a very good job, would there not be reason to replace more humans with robots in this particular industry? It's a question that I would love answered.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, like a real human working there can get sick or have an attitude or whatever, or have a lot of personal problems that they bring to work. So yeah, I can understand the robots do not have those problems, but the robots can malfunction. I mean, what if it assaults one of the guests or something, or just malfunctions completely and explodes?
Oh yeah. I mean, even beyond that, a robot will always do exactly what it's supposed to do. Whereas a human, as you said, they might be sick, they might have an attitude, they might have these, human, negatives. But at the same time, if you really connect well with that robot, it's not to say that robot is going to provide you with an outstanding service. They're not going to wake up at 7 a.m. the next day to help you get to your car because you mentioned that you're going on a big trip and they're very much interested in it. You're not going to receive that personal touch.
That's it.
Funny enough.
And that's what people want. People want that personal touch.
Yeah, they want to say, wow, this is a nice person. And wow, he just really went out of his way to make sure that I was happy. And that is where customer service comes in. And if that's what we have to give up for robots, then I don't know if I'm comfortable giving it up. I don't know. I love that.
And also we're already dealing with job losses, massive job losses, especially in the hospitality industry. So now bloody robots are taking the rest of the jobs that are left. But it's true. It is bad, man.
Do these robots have names? Is there a way to differentiate them?
Yes, well, they've got different looks. I'll put the video up. Mika, Ariel, and Lexi. So they're 3 girls. I saw a snapshot here. Oh, they're all glittery, hey? You can see they're girls. Pink and glittery, but they look a bit strange. I think they were actually interviewed on camera by ENCA. I must definitely watch this video that I've got here. I'll send it to you as well. And we'll put it up on our Facebook page and below the podcast. It's called Replacing the Personal Touch. And then you've got this robot standing there. But like you said as well. Sorry?
If the elevator stops working, can it show me to my room via the stairs?
You see, exactly. I think, as you also said, these robots are only as good as they were programmed by the humans. You still need a human touch. I wonder if they will be affected by load shedding. Because humans don't go offline when there's load shedding or something. These robots they're not fail proof. They can easily malfunction or have a short or something, and then that's not going to be pretty. I don't want to be in an elevator or in a situation where I'm alone with the robot and something's wrong with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a position like, imagine you're like in an area with a pool and you fall in. A human, whether they're a concierge person or whether they're a bartender or whether they're just an average Joe at the hotel, they're going to jump into the water and save you. But this robot's just going to watch you. It's going to just observe you. No, it's not. You got to program that kind of logic, So a robot has to be very, very, very well programmed in order to cater for all things that an employee in a position like that. So there will never be a point, I think, where we can replace all humans in like that kind of environment with robots.
Yeah, they also probably
get any more advanced. Touch and go.
It is an investment, I think, because obviously you're spending a lot to make these robots, but later on it kind of pays off because they don't have to be paid a salary. They're not going to nag you for an increase every 2 months,
Look out for the guy renting out robots. That's going to be a big market. So.
Yeah, but imagine, just like you said now, imagine somebody falls in the pool and they don't jump in and they just stand there smiling and say, would you like a drink? Or something like that. That would be freaky, actually. It's like a horror movie. Or maybe it jumps in and then it shorts out completely and then it actually shocks you to death in the water. That's very freaky.
Don't know, you know what I mean? It's not a human.
No, I don't think I'm ready for that, I'm not ready for that yet, Kaine.
No, definitely not. Let's keep to humans in these places, I think.
Yeah, well, at least the girls who have guys with wandering eyes don't have to be worried about the guys checking out the girl at the check-in counter because now it's a robot.
Oh yeah, no, there's going to be no eyeballing there.
No, I don't think so, unless you're into robots, and that would be strange. Kaine, as always, a great pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll do it again next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me. As usual, I always enjoy these tech shows. It's the highlight of the week.
Oh, awesome, man. Same here. Thanks. Talk to you next week.
Thanks so much. Chat soon.